Hi, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and today I'm reviewing Cosmic Colonies. This is going to be a game published by FloodGate Games, designed by Scott Almes, with art by Tristram Rawson, which Tristram is a name that I never saw really a lot before, but suddenly I've been seeing all over the place. It's one of those things you notice it, and then suddenly it's there, but that's a side point. But this is going to be another Polyomino game. Cosmic Colonies is another Polyomino game that is fighting to fit into your collection. It's fighting, I'm going to say it again, it's fighting to fit into your collection. In any case, I crack myself up sometimes. But in any case, this is going to be a game that is simultaneously trying to bridge both the lighter, accessible gateway Polyomino, as well as being a step up for those that want something a little more complicated, because it does come with a lighter, accessible family mode, I don't know if that's the official title, as well as an advanced mode in which, it ups the level of strategy in the game. Ultimately, the game is going to come down to trying to collect Polyomino pieces, manage your resources, and then build your Polyomino space colony over here, Cosmic Colonies, while trying to achieve specific objectives. And those objectives, I'll cover them first off the bat before we get into gameplay, because it really drives home the game. Each player is going to have a card that dictates which of two pieces will score 2 or 1 points respectively at the end of the game. So that's your own individual private bonus card. From there, each person is going to have a player board that lists on it the various scoring mechanisms over here. And specifically, it's going to come down to covering different terrain types. So if you see the different terrain types on the board, you want to focus on covering certain terrain types, which will give you points for covering all the red, all the whatever color, orange is grayish, and then the blue. And then in the basic mode, that's what, then one more thing. Then you get points for collecting sets of different resources. So for each of the different Polyomino types, if you have a full set, you get 15 points. And then finally, in the advanced mode, you're going to get points for every regular space on the board that you leave uncovered, versus in the basic mode, that's basically it. You don't have to worry about those basic spaces. You can do what you want, cover or not cover. It is whatever it is. And in the game, you're going to be trying to play these cards. You're going to have a handful of 4 cards, of which you will grab 2 every round. You'll pick one, you'll play one, you'll follow through on the action. Other players will do so as well. There's a priority on the cards. And those actions will do things like, the basic idea is every card lets you either collect resources or build a Polyomino piece, one or the other. But then the cards come with modifications, extra abilities, things you do before or after your action, things that alter your action, things that let you take resources from the supply when there aren't any left, things that let you buy one of these buildings at a discount, one of these Polyomino pieces at a discount. So all the action cards are going to mix up your options, your strategy, and the game's going to come with a decent variety of action cards. For both different modes have their own action cards. And then you're going to shuffle them up and add to the game 4 cards per player, shuffle them, and then give each player 4 cards. So you're going to play one card, take an action, follow through on the round, play another card, look at the order, take the actions, follow through on the round. Then you're going to take those 2 cards, and you're going to pass them to the player on your left, keeping your original 2 cards and getting 2 cards from the player on your right. So you're going to continue that cycle, a little bit of drafting, the ability to hold cards until they can combo well, or the ability to just play the cards. But if you play a good card, if your cards are relatively good, they are all situational, of course. But if you play a card that is perceived as good or whatnot, understand that your opponent's going to get it next round. The game is going to take place over 8 rounds, and at the end of 8 rounds, whoever has achieved the higher score in creating their Cosmic Colonies will win the game. And that's basically it. It's a pretty simple game. I can teach this thing in 5 minutes, and it does come with both, like I said, a simple and an advanced mode. The simple mode is going to have 2 main differences from the game. The first is, like I said, that scoring mechanism where you don't have to worry about the blank spaces on your board. You can fill them or not at your leisure. The advanced mode will basically punish you for filling those spaces, making it an infinitely more complex decision space as to where you place things, how you place them, and where you give up on those points. The other differences in the cards themselves. The simple cards will have one text, plain and simple, just one piece of text that affects the card. The advanced cards have a day and night text, because the first card you play is considered to be the day card, and the second card is considered to be the night card. So it's going to matter not just what cards you play, but also whether you play those cards first or second in your turn. And that's going to be the main differences in the advanced mode. And then lastly, the last thing I'll cover over there before we get into opinions and whatnot is going to be the monumental achievements expansion, which is going to be this set of various additional Polyomino pieces in a variety of other shapes that the regular game does not have. And these are going to be monuments that when you complete a space on your board that can be perfectly filled by a monument. So between the other Polyominoes and the edge of the board, if there is a space that is a perfect fit for one of these monuments, then you get to add it to the board, which will both give you points as well as, fill up your board. So that is going to be the Monumental Achievements expansion. And so to begin with, let's start with what I liked about this game. And to begin with, it's going to be pretty easy, which is it's a Polyomino game. I tend to like Polyomino games. I literally have not met a Polyomino game that I have not liked. I have liked some more than others, and when I get rid of them, and I have gotten rid of them, it's usually because someone else did it better to a degree. But I have yet to play a Polyomino game that I did not enjoy, that I would not be willing to sit down and have another go at. And this very much is a solid Polyomino game in that realm. The drafting mechanism is rewarding in this game. I love the fact that as you draft the cards, you are both choosing what to play, but that saving up aspect, that aspect that you can hold on to 2 cards. You can hold on to 2 cards the entire game, never playing them, which means you can sit there and either try to combo up, wait for certain cards to pass you by, and then go, and here's my day card, here's my night card, look how well they combo together, now I feel clever and it is fun. Or you can just play them as soon as you get them because they're the right card for the moment. But I like that drafting mechanism, that semi-drafting that happens in this game. I like the passing of the cards. I like the holding. It is a fun strategy that goes on in the game. And like I said, that day-night combo in this game, having the ability to play those cards in the right order and having the ability to dictate when you play those cards, that is a very solid aspect of strategy that the game adds. I love the Monumental expansion, the Monumental Achievements expansion. I like it to the point that I would not want to play this game without it. Now, I will give a catch. In the basic game, it's my opinion that the Monumental Achievements expansion is overpowered. In the basic game, because you don't lose points for covering spots, that combination of having your spaces covered and getting 5 points per monument makes it so that there is no strategic reason I can see to not drive home as hard and as fast to completing those monumental achievements, because if you get them, if you get more than other players, I believe you will win the game hands down, and I think they are overpowered for the basic game and you should not use them in the basic game. The advanced game does make it more of a puzzle because inherently to achieve one of these, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to cover up various spots in the board that are going to lose you points, because you're going to have to, you can no longer play this game of just doing whatever. You have to actually cover all these blank spaces in order to earn a monument, which makes that sacrifice more worthwhile. It's still worth it to get the monuments. It's still worth it to try to fit it in perfectly, but there's a bit more of a trade-off which makes them less clearly overpowered. Someone can get 2 monuments to someone else's 1, and the other player can still win the game. So I think it is significantly more balanced for the advanced game, and I would recommend against using it in the basic game. But, like I said, I love it, and I would not play the game without it. The scoring in this game is ridiculously simple in its implementation. It is easy, very easy to quickly show someone, listen, here's a Polyomino game, here's how we score, and now let's cover how we play, because once you go through that sequencing, it clicks. It clicks very quickly, very easily to understand the game and how it plays out. And it is indeed very rewarding, particularly in the advanced game. It is very rewarding to try to figure out how to fit things together. You do have to, your first Polyomino can go wherever you want. Subsequent Polyominoes do have to touch that first Polyomino, which is another game to juggle. But basically, it is fun to try to figure out which Polyomino to get, when to get it, how to drive home, how to structure turn order so you get that Polyomino, because you're building from a limited pool. Something I didn't touch upon is that there's only 1 piece available per round. Once that piece is taken, you have to wait till next round before that spot is refilled. And so, if you want a particular piece, if you're paying for a particular piece, you need to get there early if you need it at that particular time. But particularly in the advanced mode, the basic mode as well, but more so in the advanced mode, it is rewarding to slot those pieces together to figure out how to fit something so it covers the spaces you want covered and leaves alone the spaces that would otherwise lose you points, and or, create a space for a monument to fit in. Both of those are very rewarding. As far as what I didn't like about this game, it's not gonna be that much that I didn't like. Like I said, Polyomino games, historically, I enjoy the puzzle. I find them to be a great family weight and or couples weight game. Sometimes they escalate a bit to be more advanced and feel even more rewarding for playing with, even at game night sometimes. But Polyomino games as a category, I generally like a lot, and this is going to be no exception. The things I didn't like are not so much things I didn't like, but rather things that would set it a step down from other Polyomino games. And those things are, to begin with, the throwaway. I didn't like the simple mode at all. I felt if I was playing the simple mode, there are many other games I would rather play that are Polyomino based, that, with my family, my kids, whatever, a Barren Park, a Patchwork, Cottage Garden even, I prefer to a degree. The simple mode in this game I just didn't find rewarding enough. It was to the point that my first game was a simple mode, and I was like, well, I'm gonna keep playing because I have to review this thing, but at the end of the day, I was ready to let it go after the simple mode. The advanced mode certainly takes it up a notch and puts it in a, well, we'll get to that place in my collection. The two-player game in this game felt a little underwhelming. The two-player game relies on this sideboard, which you're going to slot your cards onto. So you're going to pass 2 cards to the sideboard, take off 2 cards, basically giving you a situation in which it gives a phantom player in the game to pass those cards, so you still have a bit more variety in the cards in the game, but it was a bit underwhelming. It wasn't the worst. If you want to play this game 2 players, fine, but it added an unnecessary, or rather, it added a somewhat necessary but slightly tedious extra step that I don't like phantom 2 players in phantom fictional players in my games, and this was no exception. Again, not the worst, but just another little minor ding. And then the real one in this game is going to be hard to define, which is the gameplay to me in this game felt a bit more repetitive than I would like. It takes place over 8 rounds, but you're doing the same thing, and again, I have a hard time defining this because any Polyomino game I play, the gameplay is going to be a bit repetitive to a degree. But this one too, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is exactly, it felt a little bit more just procedural of taking a piece, putting it down, taking a piece, putting it down. The rewarding part came in the playing of the cards and the way I combo something to get a slightly different edge over someone else in some small, minute way, but the actual gameplay of putting down Polyomino pieces, I don't know what it is exactly, but it didn't feel as fun as it is in a game like Patchwork, as it is in a game like Isle of Cats, or any other Polyomino game where I prefer it slightly more. As far as my final thoughts on Cosmic Colonies is a solid game that is staying in my collection, but time will tell. I liked it decently. My wife liked it more than me. My daughter was not a fan of the trying to figure out the advanced day-night mode and all that, and the basic mode she prefers Baron Park. So for right now, it falls into this category of being a game I'll happily play, but I also don't see myself requesting it compared to other Polyominoes in my collection. It is staying for now, but time will certainly tell if it's a game that's moving on or not. I do recommend checking this one out. It is solid, it is fun, and like I said, I like all Polyomino games to begin with, so that's a good starting baseline. But if you do, I do recommend the Monumental Achievements. Get that as well. It definitely mixes up the game. I would not want to play it without it. I feel this game could benefit from an additional expansion, some a little more complexity that makes the whole procedural process a little bit more rewarding for me. Ultimately, it's a game that I do think you should check out, and, well, it's a solid game. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video. Any comments or questions, let me know, well, in the comments down below. And until next time, have a good one.